Frisco MuleSoft Meetup group. Today we're just going to start off with some introductions, and then we're going to kick off the event with our talented team that we have here today. So I'm Lavina Ambani. I work for Caelius Consulting. I'm VP Customer Success. And with me today, we have our team, and I'm going to pass over the mic to the team, and they're going to introduce themselves, and we're going to kick off the event. Once again, thank you to everyone for joining in, and I'm sure we're going to have a lot of takeaways from our Meetup event today. So over to you, Anubhav.
Thanks, Lavina. Hi, everyone. My name is Anubhav Mangla. I am Associate Solution Architect here at Caelius. I'm based out of Dallas and have been working in integration space for about 4 years now. Today, we'll be going over MuleSoft RPA along with a few of my colleagues. We'll be passing on the mic to Shweta. So, Shweta.
Hello, everybody. I am Shweta Munjal. Like Anubhav said, Anubhav and I, we both work for Caelius Consulting. I'm a senior developer for automation, and I will be helping Anubhav and my other colleague Himanshu, and we'll walk you through all about RPA automation. We'll each take a section of it and show you a couple of use cases. Over to you, Himanshu.
So hi everyone, my name is Himanshu and I work for Caelius Consulting as a senior solution consultant, and I have 3 years of experience in integration domain, and today we are gonna see like how RPA works and what are the automation section of RPA is all about. Yeah, that's it from my side.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you, guys. So before we move forward, it's a good idea to know a little bit about meetups. I know a lot of people might have been joining these sessions very frequently. But those of you all who are new to this, we can always use the chat and Q&A section for any questions at any time if you have, and we can just type in our questions. Additionally, there will be a trivia quiz towards the end of the session, which will entitle top 3 candidates who are participating for training vouchers provided by MuleSoft. So please stick through to the end, and all of those questions will be from the Meetup presentation itself. So it will be a nice idea to pay attention here. Alongside, there are some forward-looking statements, I know, which needs to be considered. So I won't be reading them all, but we'll keep the screen on for 30 seconds for everyone to go over it quickly, and then I can move on to the next slide. Okay, so moving on, there are certain safe harbor statements which are required for everyone to acknowledge. So both the speaker host are organizing this meetup at individual capacity. We are not representing our organizations here. The presentation is strictly for learning purposes only. We do not hold any responsibility that the same solution will work for your business use case. However, what we will be demonstrating is true to our knowledge. And then this presentation is not meant for any promotional activities. So please keep that in consideration. However, towards the after we conclude the meetup, we will be uploading the recording as well as the slide deck for future references. So talking about agenda for today, we are already done with the introduction. Now we'll be going over what is RPA, why MuleSoft RPA, MuleSoft RPA components, different phases of MuleSoft RPA, and then we'll be doing a brief walkthrough of RPA Manager and RPA Builder. Alongside, then we will be having a use case demo, 2 of them. One is reading a PDF file and parsing it into an Excel file, and then another one is logging into MuleSoft Endpoint Platform and invocation of RPA using Mule API, which includes publishing the asset. And of course, towards the end of the meetup, as we talked about, we'll be having a trivia. We already saw this, so we can skip on it. So what is RPA and how does it work, right? Basically, RPA is robotic. If we were to expand it, it's robotic process automation. It's a software technology that combines robotic and automation to perform repetitive tasks. So think of it in a way, wherever we have certain human interventions, RPA can take over certain tasks where we can minimize those interaction, and we can gain some more productive time for anyone who is working in that domain. Be it let's say they are just querying certain Salesforce system and just checking the record of particular customer, or they are doing manual parsing of data from a PDF to Excel, which one of it will be looking into it. So it just minimizes the human interaction and enables them for more productive time. So, and talking about how does it work, most of the times we just have to create a script. Some certain steps might require logging into different application. There are legacy-based application where we have to, it's a point and click. So we open certain app, log into that platform and perform our activities, exit, and so and so forth. So those kind of things we can record and guide the RPA bot on how to execute it. Of course, we'll be taking a look into the RPA tools and what all features do we have in the MuleSoft RPA, which enables us to move, adapt these RPA technologies. So moving on, why do we need RPA is because we can automate any process for any team. There might be certain teams, so majorly think of it, the support teams, usually they are larger in volumes and they spend quite a lot of time for fetching the information, for getting some data from one system and then communicating it back to the customer. Let's say we are on any support call. So to minimize all of this, the RPA can take over that functionality, which means it can automate any processes which is being taken care within the organization. And another is collaborate on a secure and a trusted platform, which means empower the business and IT teams to collaborate with ease and break silos on each and every step of your automation journey. And of course, one of the major insights to it is that it enables MuleSoft RPA specifically enables us for end-to-end automation, which means we can have it talk to Composer, we can have it talk to Salesforce and Anypoint platform, which enables and brings down all the Salesforce components very tightly. I mean, in a ecosystem where we can interact with them very in a very nice manner. So that is one of the key features. So I'll take a quick break here. If you guys have any questions, concerns, please feel free to drop in the chat. We are constantly monitoring the chat window. So moving on. So then it comes up to why the teams, I mean, how they work and deliver customer experiences, right? So we, in the past, whosoever have adapted the RPA, they have seen 90% of increased demand for automation business teams. And now that with seeing the increased productivity of the workers, they are prioritizing to adapt automation. So which means that this is a key skill in today's world, and it will be good to learn. So we'll be seeing it. Talking about MuleSoft RPA components. So we majorly have 4 components, which I'll be going over one by one. The key component here is MuleSoft RPA Manager. This is basically a cloud-based, I would say, a cloud-based UI provided to the user for managing all of the RPA related tasks. And it is hosted on any point platform. We can do multiple things from here. We can manage, evaluate the automation efficiency, which means all of your bot management capabilities. If you need to increase your bot performance, if you need ROI, you need to look into the process lifecycle, profit analysis, and how much is your bot utilization. All of this you can do on this UI, and towards the end of my presentation, we'll be taking a quick look at how it looks like. Additional feature for this is you optimize your process operations. So once your RPA process is in production, then you need to optimize it so that it gives you a certain, I would say, it gives you certain clarity and a better picture around how these dashboards are, how this RPA is performing by giving you customizable dashboards. And this can help you resolve the errors faster. As we get notified, we can set up custom alerts and rules as soon as the error occurs, so that you know that you need to that your RPA bot needs attention. So this is something on the UI, and it is very specific to a particular organization. We'll take a look in some time how it looks like. But for your reference, this is the screenshot of it. Another important component is MuleSoft RPA Builder, and unlike MuleSoft RPA Manager, this is installed on a Windows machine, and it is being used to build debug RPA processes. Basically, we have a drag and drop functionality. From the toolbox, we create BPMN, business process modeling. BPMN model for our process, and with it, we just go over and implement our RPA. So the things which the RPA builder enables us is to build with ease, since it is drag and drop functionality. A lot of you are, I believe, from MuleSoft background. So it's very similar to how we have in our Anypoint Studio. We have a functionality, just drag and drop and utilize it. So since we have a lot of already built assets, which expedites the development effort. So whosoever is working on the development of it, development of a bot, it will just ease their work. And later on, those can be taken as a template and published to Exchange. Another key feature is we can debug the projects in real time and get to know the error right then and there, why the bot is not working. And this is during the development phase only that we can encounter. And these errors are descriptive, so for you to have enough gauge on why we are getting that error. Moving on, the third component of MuleSoft RPA is RPA Recorder. This is a very good feature, I would say, since the launch. The RPA Recorder, what it can do is it can record your certain activities, as I mentioned, right? We might have to log into certain legacy applications, or we might have to do certain coordinates-based tasks on our desktop machine. So it can take care. What we need to do is just install it on our Windows machine and guide it through for steps, and it will build the process for us. So we don't have to worry about what component to use, where to use it. It will just take step-by-step approach, and will enable you to record everything that is going on in your screen. The last component is MuleSoft RPA bot. This again is the actual bot that runs on your Windows instance. This is the actual component which carries out, executes the process that you have built. So RPA bots are the software bots that carry out any RPA processes assigned to them. We need to assign them particular processes, and we need to just give it certain instruction that this needs to be executed, and it will take care of the rest. So there are certain prerequisites for MuleSoft RPA bot, which are RPA bot requires a computer where applications required for processes are being installed, along with the activities created in RPA Builder. So bringing it short, right? We need to have, let's say you want to log into AnyPoint platform, which Himanshu will be demonstrating. So for which you need a browser. So all of those applications should be installed on your computer where you have your bot running, so that it can execute what you have built in your RPA Builder. I'll take a quick pause, and I see a Q&A. Any question? Okay, so you already asked. Thanks, Shweta, for answering that. So I think we can move on. Then another thing is RPA phases. So MuleSoft RPA has various number of phases, which you can say as life cycle as well. I'll be explaining them, and then feel free to drop in if you have any questions. So this is a RPA lifecycle phases diagram, and it's going clockwise. So starting from evaluate, this is the very first step or phase, we can say, in the RPA lifecycle. Very important, wherein the business team takes care of assessing whether or not a given process is a viable, whether or not is it adding value to the business to automate that process, because ultimately it should not exceed the number of effort which a particular human being is making in just developing that particular thing. So this is something that is there on the business team side, and then they take care of the design, what certain designs are, what certain steps are need to be followed, so that the process can be automated. Let's say the use cases that we will drop in a file, we'll receive a file on email, and then it will be dropped to a certain SFTP location. It then needs to be read, and further the invoice processing, it needs to be sent to NetSuite system, for example. So all of that is responsibility of a business team, that they define the process and design all the steps so that it can be further taken care. These designing and this design phase is carried out in RPA Manager and RPA, using RPA Manager and RPA Recorder. And then comes the role of RPA developers, automation developers, who actually build the bots. So by applying the process logic to the steps designed in the previous step, they just take that, and using the RPA Builder capabilities and RPA Recorder wherein required, the developers build the particular bot or RPA solution. The next phase is, then we take it to a test environment. We move it to test phase, wherein the developed bot is tested by the business and the IT team, and this can be tested on the stage deployment before we move into production. We will be using RPA bot and RPA Manager in this phase. Again, production is very similar to test. It's just that we are promoting our RPA bot to production environment, which will also deploy the asset to any point exchange if in case that is part of the use case. And in this phase again, we will be utilizing RPA bot and RPA manager. Another phase is operating. So basically monitor and manage the bots and processes running in production environment. Then we can be, as I mentioned earlier, we can have certain set of alerts set so that if in case anything fails, we are being notified. But this is something that is taken care by the IT team. And yes, that concludes our RPA lifecycle phases. Yep. So if anyone is having any questions, I see Shweta and Himanshu are there to answer, so feel free to drop in. So moving on, there are certain deployment topics which just wanted to bring to your notice. So here we have different, as we talked about in different phases, right? We have test and production. For the non-production environment, how we actually define the concept of non-production environment here in MuleSoft RPA. So the concept is that we have one platform, which is RPA manager assigned to particular organization for development, testing, and your production needs. And when you're, so it moves on from one phase to another. All your environments are connected to RPA manager, and once you are done with one phase, then it moves on and switches to the another environment. So let's say you are in test and you promote, then it moves to production. So if at all you believe that at one given point in time there is a need for test environment, separate test environment, you need to request for another instance from MuleSoft. Again, talking about production, this covers like once we are running the bot in non-production, we just switch to production environment by promoting our bot or process. Another important key concept here is the CI/CD DevOps. So currently it is being embedded in the MuleSoft RPA itself. It is self-contained. Through the automation lifecycle, it roughly represents in the background. It roughly represents its CI/CD cycle. And currently we cannot use any external CI/CD tools like GitHub, Jenkins integration for our RPA bots, but it is self-contained. So now talking about RPA manager, the one that we saw a screenshot of, I'll quickly bring in the screen. I hope this is visible. So this is how, one second. This is how your RPA manager looks like. It's a cloud-based, and this is your home page. As amongst the 4 components of MuleSoft RPA, one is the MuleSoft RPA manager, which is cloud-based. The another 3 are desktop-based, Windows-based applications. So these can be downloaded right from here, like RPA Recorder, RPA Builder, RPA Bot. All of these can be downloaded and installed on your specific Windows instance. I'll not be taking a deeper dive into each of those, but can we quickly go over these features? So in my RPA, we have the team tasks, the processes that you have created, any of the team backlogs. So we can actually have a team setup and then collaboratively work amongst ourselves. So I'll just quickly take a quick pause. There's a question from Vikrant. Can MuleSoft be used with Salesforce? So if you can expand a little bit on it, yes, we can you integrate MuleSoft. Using MuleSoft, we can integrate to Salesforce, but I don't know if your question is regarding RPA and Salesforce interaction. So please, if you can elaborate more, we'll be able to answer more clearly. And then we have, moving on, we have these quick links where we can go. And this is very important phase, process evaluation, as I mentioned, that it is being taken care of by the business team. So whether or not we should be moving forward to automate that this certain process is being done in this phase of the RPA development. Then finally comes the process automation. This is the actual automation process, which Himanshu will be going over during his part of the presentation. Then we have certain process operations and monitoring. All of these are very related to when we move things to production. If in case you need to send certain alerts or set up things and alerting, so all of these features can be taken care of using these features. Additional thing that we have here is bot management, which again is important. Since it shows all of your bots running and shows the capacity, whether or not it shows the state and everything. So for monitoring and everything, we need this, and we can tweak our bots using bot management. And we have the user management as well. If in case we need to manage access for users, need to create certain roles and user groups, we can actually utilize this user management tab and go from there. The next thing is organization management. Here we have certain settings, and for connecting this RPA instance to your MuleSoft Anypoint platform, we actually need to give our MuleSoft credentials here, so that it links on the organization level. So yes, that is there. So we briefly talked about it, RPA manager. If in case you guys have any question, feel free to drop in the Q&A session or the chat box.
Anubhav, we do have a question, from Kalyani. How do we get to the RPA screen? Is it another option in the Anypoint platform, like we have Runtime Manager, API Manager, etc.?
Okay, so to answer your question, Kalyani, this is totally separate than Anypoint platform. However, in the background, it is being hosted on the Anypoint platform, but we need this is a totally separate instance. You are being assigned, so based on your organization, you are assigned a separate organizational URL through which you can access this RPA manager.
And also, may I try MuleSoft RPA in an Anypoint trial account?
So no, currently we cannot. This is organizational level only. I mean, we cannot create a trial account and get our hands dirty. So what we need to do is actually request MuleSoft for it, or if your organization can help you enable on that one. So you cannot, and I think that answers the last question as well. How do we register for RPA manager? You need to contact the organization to help you get access for the RPA instances. We cannot do it all by ourselves.
So Pratibha, to add to what Anubhav just said, you can get in touch with your PSMs for your organization, and they can help you get set up within the RPA manager and get accesses for you through that channel.
Sure. Now I'll be handing over the baton to my colleague Shweta. She'll be taking it forward and talking about RPA manager and demonstrating us the use case. Over to you, Shweta.
Thank you, Anubhav. So Anubhav, can we move on to the next slide, please? Will you still continue doing this? The slides for me, please. Thank you. So like Anubhav said, different phases of RPA implementation, right? The 6 that we discussed. The first 2 need to be complete before we can move on to the builder, which is on your local machine. The evaluation phase and the design phase both need to be completed. This is very, very important. If these are not, you need to promote from one phase to another. You have to make sure that evaluation is complete. This is where business team brings a project to you, an implementation to you. We want to automate this repetitive task. We have to make sure that it is a viable implementation. A cost benefit analysis needs to be done, and if return on investment is worthy, it is approved, and then evaluation phase is completed, it moves on to design phase. You literally have to publish it from one phase to another. In the design phase, again, we use the business team because they know exactly how the process needs to run. For example, the use case that I will be showing is user opens an invoices folder, looks at PDF files in there, opens the PDF files, reads the data, extracts only certain important data, and adds that as a line item to an Excel file. Now, knowing this process, you can use a recorder, you can use hard coding, either way. But this design phase is where we use the recorder. We create this high-level model called as BPMN, the business process model and notation. And that, once that is complete, we publish it further to builder. That's when the build phase, the third phase, starts. Let's move on to next, please. Now, like I said, the RPA builder will be on your local Windows machine. To be able to access that BPM model that we created in the design phase, we need to connect to the MuleSoft RPA Manager repository. This is from the design phase, like I said. You use your credentials, and again, I will show this to you in real time as well. Here's a screenshot. You use your credential, you log into this, and to be able to do that, you must be a team member. Remember when Anubhav was showing you RPA Manager on the left-hand side, all those features, one of them was My RPA. That's where all the teams and the team members are assigned, and you should be a member of that team for that team to be able to access that BPMN model. And like I said, it must be physically published to build phase. Now, once we are in the build phase, we need to set up a few key activities. Without doing these, this is where basically we are implementing the logic. The workflow is being set up. First of all, we start so this is just an overview of an example BPN model. If you look at the top of the screenshot, this denotes the start. And how are we triggering the process? That's where we define this. There are different kind of tasks. The blue ones are the bot tasks, which are automated. The white over here with a person, it is a user task. Basically, when we need an input from the user, is it okay to proceed? Or something went wrong and we need to bring it back to the user and need an input. That's where we come back to. All of these are tasks, be it a user task, be it a bot task, and each of them will have an individual workflow. Double-clicking on this will open the workflow below. Each workflow has certain parts to it, which we'll see in the next slide. There is initialization block, the activity block, and the finalization block. These all need to be set up in the build phase. Next, please. So like I said, each workflow will have 3 activities block. The workflow initialization block is where we define the initial settings for a task. If we need to define a parameter, we do it over here. The activity workflow block is where you will be working most of the time. This is where we logically organize the workflow elements between these 2 transaction things. And again, we will see this live also. This is where we implement the code per se. This is where we are telling what needs to be done, how to control the flow, how to, what if an X step is done, what is the next step to be executed after that. And workflow finalization block basically concludes the activities. It handles all task completion activities, example, error handling. Once these workflows are set, this is where our build phase technically is complete. As in, we don't have to do any more coding, but build phase also has another feature where we can test our implementation locally, the unit testing, not to be confused with the test phase that we have. The fourth phase that comes after build, that is done on RPA Manager. User test cases are written, and the testing phase is done at that time. But you can individually test your workflows, or you can collectively test your process before you move on to testing phase. So that is what we'll do next. So yes. So we can unit test each process. Like I said, these blue boxes, these are each individual bot task. You can run, this here is the RPA bot task workbench. Sorry, I'm tripping over my own words. So let's say I have selected extract data from PDF. Double-clicking on this opens the workflow. There is a run feature here. Once I click, it does not show me anything, but if there is an error, it will come up here. That one error or one warning or whatever is there. If it is executing, if everything is fine, it runs perfectly fine. It gives you a notification, and you can see all the results and logs in the workflow run results view. If this window is not visible, you can go to view option and bring that up. Mostly it's not visible, but you go to view, you bring this window up, and you can see all the results and logs. This is if we are testing an individual bot task. If we want to test the whole process, next slide, please. We need to use the run feature from the business process modeler. When we run this, when we use this run feature, it starts from start, and it will run each bot task individually. And a new window, test run information, will pop up on the side, and it will show you each step as it is going. You will see this again in the live demo. It will show that invoices was, the folder was opened, and what was the status of it, what was the next step that was done, and so on and so forth. Once we are sure that this runs perfectly fine, we can go ahead and move it to the testing phase. That's where, and testing phase and post-production phases, Himanshu will touch on that a little bit further. Next slide, please. Just so you know, only the build, the workflow setup and the unit testing can be done in RPA Builder. To release it to testing phase, we need to go back to, we will upload our project back to RPA Manager, and there is a way to upload it from Builder. Once you upload it there, you have to, like I said earlier, physically publish it. You have to move it from one phase to another. You publish it to test phase, you confirm that you have checked everything, and once it goes to test phase, the testing team has access to it, and you can write test cases and move it further to production. This, once we move it to test phase, this completes the build phase, and the development of the RPA process is now complete. I would like to share my screen now. And am I going too fast? Is this okay? Can I go ahead with the demo?
Shweta, I think we're good. Yeah, you're fine.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you see my screen? Do you guys see my screen?
Yes, it is
it's
visible.
just loading. Yeah, we just see the invoice details.
Right. So I just want to show you the Excel file. This is, so again, to reiterate, what I'm trying to do is there are these PDF files that I'm going to open and enter, read the data, extract needed data, and put that in Excel file. So in this Excel file, I currently have 2 rows of data. I have invoice date, invoice number, company name, and total. My PDF may have more information. I need only, this is what pertains to the business use. So I'm only gonna take these. This is what my builder looks like. I just quickly, how are we doing on time? Can I quickly show what all we saw on the screenshots, or do we
So
not have time?
we're about 15 minutes into wrapping up, but we can.
Okay.
I mean,
So
yeah, we can go about
we
5-7
need
minutes
to-
over. I think usually people are okay with it.
Okay. So this is where you put your password in, your username, from the RPA manager address, the organization a level address that you have for RPA manager, you connect it. Once you are connected, you go to repository, you click on your use case that you have, and then this is the overview of the high level BPN model that we got from design phase. Now, I have taken that further into, and I have defined some parameters. There is activity workflow. I have defined that, okay, read the PDF details, put it into this particular array, do what, all that things. So this here is if I want to test just the extract data from PDF, I run this. This is unit testing, a bot task, but I want to run the whole process and show to you how it works. So let's see. It is trying to open the invoices folder, which was success. Reading the PDF files now, which was a success. So now this here is a simple use case that had 3 jobs to it. There could be many. Himanshu's is very different from this. So you will get to see what all capabilities the RPA builder has. So it looks like the process was a success. Once I close this, I can go back to my invoice details and see if so a third row was added and it has the data that I asked it to add. So that is pretty much for what I have. Himanshu's demonstration is not only the use case, he will also take it further along the life cycle, and he will take you through testing and production phases. So on to you, Himanshu.
Shweta, before you go off and Himanshu takes over, we have one question from Ishalveer. He's asking what particular tools were used for the workflow implementation of this PDF to the Excel use case.
Okay. So going back to the first slide that we showed, it may not work for the use case that you may have, but I used string to array, read from PDF, string to array, then for the Excel files, you know what? If I could remember all this, that would be wonderful, but I do not. For the Excel file, can I quickly share my screen one more time?
Sure.
It will be so much easier to just show that. Let me know when you can. And hopefully we will do a deeper dive into RPA Builder some other time, but we have a toolbox that has all these features, and specifically for Excel, we have these Excel session. This one, write to Excel file, basically wrote into the Excel file. We needed an Excel session for that. We did file operations. I did the read PDF file. We did some variable handling where we did set array variable, read from array, string to array, and what else? Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. I hope that answers your question.
Thanks, Shweta.
Thank you. Over to you, Himanshu.
Okay, thanks, Shweta. Okay, I'll just first share my screen and let you know what is the current use case that we are going to see today. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to log into Anypoint platform using our RPA bot. So as Anubhav and Shweta already told us, like there will be multiple phases while creating a bot. So the design phase and the process evaluation phase is already being accomplished. But this use case, what I did is basically we are having a bot which is going to log into Anypoint platform. Okay, so the build phase is already being completed for this use case, and now we're going to see how we're going to publish it to the test environment and how we can use this asset while publish it into the Anypoint platform and reusing in our Mule APIs. Okay, so this use case is already being developed. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to publish it to the test environment right now. And as you can see, there are 3 steps of this bot. Basically, these are called bot tasks. That is, first, it is going to open the run window. Then it will find the login button there. And after login button, it will search for any point platform, click on that. And once the windows get open, it is going to enter the credentials for any point platform and we log into that one. So I'll just refresh my screen. Okay, I'll just publish it once again. Looks like there's some network glitch. Give me a second. Yeah, it got published. Okay, so right now this bot is currently in a testing phase. So as we usually do in our APIs, we used to deploy our APIs into the test environment. Similarly, this is the one where we are going to test it using our test cases. We're first going to create a test plan, how our bot should run. Like it could be on a scheduler base, it could be a instant run. So I'll show you how we can create a test plan for one of the bot. Is like we can enter any name, just like make it as a demo run for Meetup. And what it is going to do is it's going to log into any point platform. Okay, here we go. We'll move to the next step. Here is the activity parameter. If we need to set any externalized activity parameters, so we can address it over here, or else we can move forward to next one. Okay, as Shweta mentioned that she has created a user group. So over here, what we can do is whenever a business perspective comes in, we have a team to develop a particular task. So once we have a team, what we can do is we can assign this notification, like for if a particular developer is there. So we can click on send notification. Once the bot is ready for testing or perform a task, he'll get a notification or she'll get a notification that the bot is ready to perform its task. Next thing, as now RPA is a little bit restricted to Windows machines. So what we are going to do is I have already set up my machine as a desktop session to this RPA, and I'm going to select that. Moving forward, we have these multiple machines which is linked to this instance. So we can select either of them. And as Shweta, like Anubhav and Shweta address, we have a tool named as bot instance. So over there, what we usually do is we usually enter our credentials that links into our RPA manager, and whatever bot we want to deploy on that, we can deploy it and it will run on that Windows machine. So I'll just click on finish there. Here we go. So I already created a Meetup test run, and right now I just created demo run Meetup. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on start test and select my test. So the current test which I selected was demo run Meetup. I'm going to execute it. Okay, so once it got executed, it will take a couple of seconds or a minute to start the bot, and you can have a look at the bottom. There it will pop up a bot symbol, and after clicking on update, we can also see if a process gets started or not. So we just need to wait for a couple of seconds more. See, the test is started now, and what we can see in a few seconds that a bot will also work. See, the icon is pop up at the bottom and the bot started. So fun part, I'm not using my hands at all, and this is completely being automated. So what bot is right now doing is it is opening the run command and writing that I want to open my Chrome in incognito mode using this URL. So a training MuleSoft URL got open. And the next step, as we have defined in a bot task, the net bot task was to search for login button. And here we go. It searched for the login button. Once you get the login button, it will gonna drop down and search for any point platform. So with this, it opens the anypoint platform, and then we need to enter our credentials like username or password. So I've already stored my credentials, and it is going to enter that credentials. So here we go. It entered my username and then my password. And we are into our anypoint platform. So what happens is, like as Anubhav told us, like if we wanna deal it on a business perspective. So consider of a scenario like if we want to log into SFTP server and read out our files or take the invoices down, the detail, the necessary invoices. So over there we can use that and combine my use case and Shweta's use case in one go, and we can have a complete bot ready for our business perspective. So next step after we get into this testing phase, our testing phase is complete now and our bot is running as expected. We're going to move to production phase. Okay. So one thing catch over here is as MuleSoft has provided RPA. So what happens is whenever we publish this publish it to production, an asset gets created over Exchange. I'm going to show you that too. So I'll click on publish and production. So now this is into a production state now. Production means this is the bot is live. Now how we can invoke it? So first thing is we can create invocable run configurations here and we can schedule it like for in a month, we want to run it on 15 days, like on any every alternate days at 5 p.m. We can schedule it and every time that time comes up, the bot will automatically run. Second part is how we can integrate with our MuleSoft APIs. So as I told you, we have an asset published over an AnyPoint platform. So what I just did now, right now is click on publish. So what it did, it goes to my AnyPoint platform. I have, as Anubhav told us, we have a section over here as in at the bottom organization management where we can connect our AnyPoint platform. So that is how my asset got published into the respective platform. Okay, I'll go to this platform, search in Exchange. And here we go. I have my asset with my name, login to AnyPoint platform. And as we deep dive into this, we can see there are multiple endpoints that is being present by this RPA asset through which we can trigger our bot, check the status or get the correct status, whether the bot is running or not. So I'm going to use this asset over my MuleSoft API. I have already created a dummy API in my studio. So what it is actually happening over here? We are all aware about like how we can add an asset to our studio. We can just simply go to Exchange, search for an asset, like I search for login to AnyPoint platform. Here we go. I have an asset and it's already added to my code. So I'm not going to add it again. And in the Mule palette, you can see this module is being added. In this module, we have three connectors, specifically start process, get process execution status, and start process non-idempotent. So right now, I'm just going to start the bot. So what happens is you can create your Mule APIs on a specific conditions, like if this condition satisfy that I'm at that time, I want to trigger the bot and get the result of that time. So I'm going to run this this flow. Let me run it over this. Just give me a second. Here we go. So what I'm doing right now is I'm right now deploying my API over my studio to just trigger this bot using this connector. And we also, here's a catch that we need to pass any unique ID. That is what we call it is an execution ID over this connector, because at the backend it is using a REST API call. So it needs an execution ID trigger. And using that same execution ID, we can get the status of the process. So sometimes what happens whenever you trigger a bot, it takes a minute or a couple of seconds to run that, because there is a path. It goes to AnyPoint platform, triggers that, AnyPoint platform connects to the RPA manager and then triggers the bot wherever it is deployed. So that's a loop, and that's why it is taking time on a local Windows machine. But once it is deployed to platform and to the runtime manager, it won't take much time. Okay, right now my API is deployed. What I'm going to do is I have already created an URL over here. I'm just going to trigger it. And it says the bot has been triggered. So what, as we seen earlier, we're just going to wait for a minute and we're just going to see again the same demo which we have seen earlier. But right now it is being triggered using a Mule API, not by in the testing phase or clicking on a button. So till the time, if anyone has any questions on the chat section, so we can answer that.
Just a quick thing. I know we might be going a bit over our time. We do have a trivia still pending, so apologies for that. There's just a lot to cover since this topic is just relatively new, and there's just so much that the team can talk about. So sorry about that. So please do stay on for the trivia. We should be just a few more minutes over.
So I just need a couple of minutes more to just cover my section, then we can jump on to trivia, and then you'll see interesting questions. So right now, what happens is my RPA, like my bot has already seen that phase that it is already logged in, so it won't log in that thing again. But if I log out, it is going to enter the credentials and log in back to again, because the bot understands that step is not came up yet. So whenever it sees the step, it will go and do the stuff. So yeah, that is all about the bot. And yeah, here I go. That's all from my side. Anubhav, we can take forward.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, Himanshu. Thanks, Shweta. So we'll be quickly going over trivia. I'll just quickly go ahead and share my screen, and we'll just go over the instruction, and then Lavina, I would want you to take over.
Yes, absolutely. So today for our trivia, we're going to be using menti.com. If you're not aware with menti.com, I would appreciate if everyone could log into menti.com, menti.com. We're going to share a code with you, and our questions will be shared on that code, and answers will be answered out there too. Going forward, there are going to be 3 questions during this trivia, and as Anubhav mentioned during the start of our meetup, we have some vouchers from MuleSoft, which at the end of the meetup, I'll go ahead and share them with the winners, and share the vouchers with you as well, courtesy of MuleSoft. Anubhav, are you sharing the Menti page, or is Akhil?
Akhil is going to present.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Akhil. Go ahead and present the Menti page. In the meantime, if we can all log into menti.com, that's menti.com. Perfect. Our code we're going to use, which we need to log into once we log into menti.com, is 47991978. I'm going to put that in our chat as well, 47991978. We're going to give you a minute before we release the question, 47991978. Log in out there. If just give us a thumbs up on the chat. Just let us know that you've logged in, or if you need a bit more time, or if you're stuck, or if you need some help. We do have some people joining in. We have about 23 people who've joined in so far. We should have a few more. Okay, I think if anyone wants us to pause, we'll take a pause. Otherwise, I think looks like we're good to go. Akhil, go ahead and you can click on our very first question. So it's almost like the fastest finger first. The first question is, in which phase do we create a BPMN model? Evaluate, production, design, or build phase? And time's up. And our correct answer is the design phase. So congratulations to everyone who got that answer correct. We have our leaderboard coming up. And as of now, our first three with the correct answer and the fastest person to answer it is Ishalveer, followed by Usma, and then at the third place is Leonardo Lopez. So moving on again, if by any chance, if you've logged off, back again to menti.com, our code is on top of our screen, 4799-1978. Go ahead, Akhil. Where does the RPA bot execute? Our second question is, where does it execute? Anypoint platform, Windows OS machine, RPA manager, RPA builder, none of the above. And our correct answer is a Windows OS machine. And this changes up our leaderboard. Back to Leonardo being at first place, followed by Nagesh, and at the third place is Iva Janelle. So thank you so much. And that brings us to our very last question. Once again, our code is 4799-1978. And our last question for this meetup today is, which operation is not part of the RPA asset published on Exchange? And the correct answer is stop process. And this is going to be our very final leaderboard. With Nagesh being right on top, followed by Leonardo, and then I think at third place is Usma. Our top three winners, please feel free to email me at, I'm just messaging on our chat window, my email address. Feel free to just message me and I will go ahead and share the vouchers with you. So that's, so thank you so much. Thank you for everyone joining in today. And most importantly, thank you to our speakers. Thank you, Shweta. Thank you, Anubhav. Thank you, Himanshu, for taking the time to put all of this together for our audience. And thank you, Akhil, for your help. Yes, Kalyani, the recording will be shared later. We do have a YouTube channel. Once it's uploaded on that, we will share a mass email. So it'll be shared with you. Just give us probably a day or two and we will have that sent across to you. So yes, it will be shared with everyone along with the slide deck for this presentation. So thank you very much and looking forward to more meetups. So make sure that you kind of like the Frisco Meetup group for more events coming up from our end. Thank you and have a great evening.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.